stressing about CDRs, continuing disability reviews. So we're going to talk about that today, and hopefully after today you won't stress as much, and you can go on with your life. All right. So my name is Ed Weir. I'm a former manager of the Social Security Administration, and so we'll talk about CDRs today for probably about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'll go ahead as usual and go ahead and open it up to the floor if you have any questions, and I will answer all of them. We've got about an hour today, and we'll get that done. But let's talk about CDRs to begin with. All right, so CDRs, if you're on disability, if you've been on disability for any number of years, then you probably already had your whole CDR process, and you understand it's frustrating and overwhelming, and you're all paranoid whether you're going to lose your disability. You really need that money. You need that Medicare and everything. So yeah, it is part, unfortunately, of the entire process. So the law requires that Social Security Administration reviews your disability every 3 years. So we're talking your medical, and they also include your work and everything, every 3 years. If you're not expected to improve, then every 5 to 7 years. So that's what's required that the Social Security Administration do. And we'll talk about a little bit how the sausage is made inside the Social Security offices. Um, if your CDR is due, you will get forms in the mail, a 454 or 455. 454 is a continuing disability review report, or the smaller one is a 455. They actually finally jumped into the 18th century. Social Security did, and put the 455 online, so you can complete it online. And it's just basically the best thing to do is prepare. As I just did 4 videos itself on how to file for disability and request a reconsideration and appeal and all that. So watch those. But a lot of the tips, tricks, and secrets in those 4 videos also are applicable to CDRs. Keep notes of when you go to the doctor. If you go to the doctor and the doctor says, do this, that, or the other, or take this prescription, and you don't do it, then you're not really following the doctor's orders, which is fine if the medications that you take make you feel worse than your actual, disabling condition. Just make sure you notify the doctor of that there's a medical record of it. And don't trust doctors' handwritings. So make your own notes. On June 10th at 2 o'clock, I saw Dr. Smith, and he told me to take this prescription, and I told him it makes me feel 10 times worse. And so make the note of that, and that way you've got everything set up. You've got a journal, an ongoing journal, for when your CDR package inevitably arrives in the mail. You can just pull out your journal and fill it out. And as everything with Social Security Administration, send it in, mail it, but keep a copy for yourself. It gets lost in the mail, it gets lost in the Social Security office, whatever the case may be. Keep a copy, and that way, if they call up later and say, "We never received it," so, well, I sent it, but I do have another copy, and you can just go ahead and send it. And that's going to be very important to reduce your stress. But I think the preparation is a big one. But here's the big thing I want to convey. This is kind of an insider tip to reduce your stress. My strategy is FCF. Forget about it, complete it, and then forget about it again. This is the strategy you need to use for CDRs. What do I mean by this? If you're going to have, you find out when you're set. Your diary, is they call it internal for Social Security. Your diary is when you're going to have your CDR, every 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, or something like that. So you find out, about when you're going to have it. Okay, I don't have to worry about it for 3 years or 5 years or whatever the case may be. So you find out when that is, and just forget about it until that year comes up. And then when you get it, complete it, and then forget about it again. But Social Security Administration, all of the offices, over 1,500 offices throughout the country, they get budgets. Social Security Administration gets a budget. Here's how the whole thing works. Social Security Administration, the government, the Congress gives Social Security Administration a budget to pay for rent and employees' salary and computer systems and all that kind of stuff. But they also set out two separate budgets. One is for RZs, SSIs, so supplemental security income, the welfare-based program. So they sent out a budget to offices and, hey, people on SSI, review, this number of people on SSI to make sure, you're taking care of, people's tax money and people aren't receiving benefits that aren't supposed to receive benefits. And they also set a separate budget for CDRs. So every year, Congress says, okay, we will give Social Security Administration X amount of money for CDRs. And then the headquarters in Baltimore allocates those to the different offices throughout the country. So each office has a quota, essentially. 100 in my office, I think sometimes we had about 100 or so, 150 per month that we had to do. And all offices are the same. And this is I think that Social Security does a bad job because they stress people out because of how the system works. I don't see a solution to it, but this is how the system works, and this is why people are stressed. Each office has an allocation of 100, so they have to do 100 because if they don't do it, then they don't get that money, and it's a whole it becomes an issue. So they have to do 100. Every office has to fill their quota. But in order to fill their quota, if they have to do 100 at the end of the month, they need 100 valid completed applications, because what happens is they get the 454, the 455, they get it all, they look at it, it all looks good, and then they send it to the Disability Decision Service for the medical review. Okay, so they have to send, if the quota is 100, they have to send a quota. They have to send 100 to the DDS. All right. So, but in order to get those 100, they usually have 100, 300 packages, those 455s, the whole packages, CDR and stuff. So if you receive a package, this is why forget it, complete it, forget it, is if your CDR time is up this month and you get a package, and you fill it out, you pull out your journal and you fill it out and make a copy of it, send it in. Possibly nothing will happen with it, because the office, in order to fill the quota of 100, they had to send out 200, and you're part of the second 200, and they've already filled their quota of 100, so they might not do anything with you. So they send it, they may hold it for a few weeks, but they can't hold it very long because then the information is not valid anymore. So they might hold it over for the next month. But super long story short, even if you send it in, nothing might happen. So they might go forward and do the medical thing, but if you send it in and you don't hear anything, no news is good news. That means they've already filled their quota, or so they didn't even use your package, so you don't have to worry about it. So please stop stressing about CDRs. I get you can read my comments. So many people reach out to me and say, hey, CDR, I've got it, I'm all stressed about it. No, forget about it, completely forget about it. When the first time you should think about a CDR, the actual CDR, again, keep a journal, but the only time you should think about a CDR is when you actually get it in the mail. And then you get it in the mail, you complete it, and then forget about it again, because nothing might happen. So yes, so there it is. So please stop stressing. If you're on disability, I'm sure you have other issues in your life, your disabling condition, your medications, and your inability to work and all the rest of it. You have more than your share of stressors in your life. Social Security doesn't need to stress you out even more simply because of the way they get their budget for CDRs. So I apologize for that, because I was part of that whole system when I ran the third busiest Social Security office in the country. So yeah, there is that. Okay, all right. So let's move on. If you're just here for the CDR thing, have a great day. Don't stress. Just do it and do it to it. But if you have any questions, family, friend, relatives, coworkers have any questions, make sure you subscribe, and that way you can find us again in the future. when you do have questions. All right. All right. Here is a good question here. Afi, after how many years does a CDR stop? Well, um, they can continue all the way until your 60s. But, once you get past, 60, 62, 63, it's usually not, they can technically do it, legally do it. But yeah, it's usually kind of a waste of money. But Social Security employees don't really look at it. They just, the person in your local office that is doing CDRs, they don't look at, oh, this person is 62 years old. This is probably going to be a waste of money. Do. See, they're just looking for, okay, I need one more, and so yeah, so they can do it pretty much to the end. However, once you hit your full retirement age, then you're no longer on disability. People that hit your full retirement age, nobody in the country after 66 and 6 months or 67 or whatever is on disability. I get calls all the time and messages. People reach out. Oh, I'm 70 years old on disability. No, no, your disability ended like 5 years ago. Once you hit your full retirement age, you're no longer on disability. You're on regular retirement. Your check stays the same. Your pay date stays the same. You just don't have to deal with the CDRs and all that other kind of stuff. So it's a beautiful thing. Lorraine, hi, just found you. Are all of these money cards for real for seniors? I'm 76 and would love the help. Uh, yeah. Yeah, so you're talking about the Medicare Advantage, cards, the grocery cards, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Um, Luckily, CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, Medicare, they have finally clamped down on all those. You saw quite a bit of those, let's say comedians and actors and football players, and they had all these commercials all the time that never ended, and they were hawking all this. You see all this on Facebook. Um, they are there are companies out there that offer those, yes, but what the government has seen is that unscrupulous people have taken the best card in the country. So if I always pick on my hometown, Paris, Texas. So if in Paris, Texas, there's one card there, gift, the grocery card or whatever that gives, let's say, just this is theoretical here, because Medicare is now very touchy on these things. So I want to make sure I'm staying legal here. Let's say, again, hypothetical, I'm just example here. Let's say the card gives out $1,000 a month. Okay. But it only gives that $1,000 grocery card to people that live in Paris, Texas. Okay. Then there's sales agents and marketing companies and all these commercials that take that one in Paris, Texas, $1,000 a month, and they make ads on Facebook and stuff for people for places all over the country. And then people in Maine and Florida and Oregon and Los Angeles call and say, "Yeah, I want that $1,000 a month card." And they say, "What's your zip code?" "Oh, yeah, you don't live in Paris, Texas." "Oh," but then they got you on the phone. And then they do the high pressure. Well, it's not $1,000, but we've got one that's got $50 or something like. But so super long story short, um, they are they are real. There are companies out there that offer them, but it really depends on your particular area. And the ones with the most money, generally, again, dependent on your area and everything, are the ones that for people that have Medicare and Medicaid. Those are called dual eligible plans for people dual eligible for Medicare and Medicaid. So those are the ones usually that have higher benefits, again, particular depending on your area. I want to make sure. So CMS is Medicare. The government has clamped down on all those and say, okay, hey, you can't do that. You can't do this whole bait and switch where you advertise one for the whole country, and then when people call you, they switch. So yeah. So luckily, the government has finally come down and says y'all can't do that anymore, which is awesome. Awesome. But yes, it's if you're interested in that, I've put together, because I was tired of all that too, so I decided to go ahead and put together a network of trusted Medicare insurance brokers throughout the country that can help you out. So just give us a call, and we can see what's available in your particular area. Let's see here. And, oh, okay, Dr. Ed Weir, the happy face and thumbs up and all that. Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Greg, what's up, Greg? I've been on SSDI for over 2 years. 2 years. I received a wage and employment authorization form, but it got destroyed in the mail. I called Social Security to let them know. They said they would send me another, but one. Yeah, I think you had this question yesterday. So yeah, just reach out to them and ask for another one. Yeah, definitely ask for another one. All right. Rashad, how long is the process for SSI to go from DAC benefits though? Yeah, just so um okay, oops. Sorry. Let me Okay. So if you have a child receiving child disability benefits when they turn to an adult and their parent goes on, Social Security retirement or disability or something like that, they switch to what's called a disabled adult child benefit. So those have to be sent up at age 18. Those have to be sent up because there's a different different metrics for people on disability that are 7 or 8 years old versus an adult. So how long does it take? It takes just as long as pretty much every other disability decision. When I took disability applications, when I worked at Social Security Administrator, I've taken hundreds of thousands of them. I always told people, 3 to 6 months, you should have your initial decision. And I was, most of the time, 99% right. But now, um, uh, for most parts of the country, they're being told 6 to 9 months because everything is just so backed up. So yeah, it takes just as long as any other. Tammy, I asked this question in another video regarding Part B premiums and being penalized while in SSDI. When I hit full retirement age and go off of SSDI, would I have to continue paying the penalty? Yes, unfortunately. So as soon as you are eligible to receive Medicare, Part A, Part B, obviously there's no penalty for Part A because that's the premium is free. If you worked, if you're eligible for SSDI, then you're eligible for free Part A. But yeah, Part B, you have to sign up for it when you are first eligible, whether that's at 50 years old when you receive SSDI or 65 years old when you're, age into regular Medicare. But yeah, so unfortunately, if you didn't have health insurance from work, your work or your spouse's work, and 20 or more employees and all that, and that's the reason you didn't sign up for Part B, then unfortunately, yeah, you will be penalized even when you hit 65. But one of the things that do change that a lot of people that are on SSDI, they do when they hit 65 is they switch from Medicare Advantage plans to Medicare supplement plans because if you're under 65, it's difficult in most states to get a Medicare Advantage plan. But when you hit 65, you're in that golden window where you can't be charged extra, you can't be denied, and all the rest of it. So if you're on SSDI receiving Medicare for a long time and don't like the networks and the pre-authorizations and all that, a lot of people switch over to Medicare supplements if it's in their budget. If it's in their budget, I'm going to talk about Medicare, I think tomorrow on all of that. Let's see. I get 2207 from SSDI. Can I still apply for SSI? No. Well, yes, you can apply for anything, but you'll be denied because SSI, the most you can get on SSI is just over $900, $943. So there's a one-for-one offset. So you're making 22, so you're making way over the SSI limit. So you will not be approved. If I want to apply for Medicaid, do I have to give my husband's income? Yeah, those are state programs. Before I worked for Social Security, I worked for Medicaid. But yes, if you're living in the same household, if it's your husband but he's not living with you, then definitely they'll take that into consideration. But yeah, Medicaid is a welfare-based program. So they look at income and resources, household income and resources. So Miss Lady T, hello. Hey, what's up? All right, got a bunch of questions on TikTok here. Let me move over to TikTok. I need TikTok. I need to show you all my screen and all that stuff, but I need 10,000 subscribers on TikTok to do all that. So, all right, so please subscribe. If I own two properties, can I take disability insurance, have 40 credit? Yeah, disability insurance, so SSDI, doesn't matter. You could have 400 properties. You could have a $1 billion in the bank. Doesn't matter because they don't look at resources for SSDI. For SSI, supplemental security income, they do look at income and resources. But Social Security disability insurance is insurance that you paid for under FICA, and so they don't take any of that into consideration. So you are 100% good there. And even the income, if you've got rental income or something like that, but it's not earned, you're not able to work because of your disability. Pensions coming in and stuff like that, that's unearned income, so that won't affect a disability determination. My did X would be 64 now. I am 63. Social Security told me I get his full widow benefit. True. No. Not now, not at 63, you don't, but you will when you turn your full retirement age, unless he took his benefit very, very early. There's a thing called a widow's cap. They call that outside of Social Security. In Social Security, they call it a rib limb. But if your ex took their benefits very early at 62 or 63, then there's a very complicated calculation. But you might, at 62 and a half, that might be the most you will receive. But when that calculation is so complicated that if you call Social Security 800 number and ask them about how much you're going to receive, they're going to say, oh, yeah, you'll receive up to 100% of what he was receiving, his full benefit amount or whatever the case may be, if you wait until your full retirement age. But because of this very complicated rib limb widow's cap calculation, the people on the front on the phones and the front windows, yeah, they really can't give you that number. You have to actually file a claim. So if you're 62, you're 63. If you know that he took his retirement, later, whatever the case may be, would be 64 now. So yeah, so he would be 64 now. So if he's already receiving, then he probably took it early. So call Social Security, set up an appointment to actually take a claim, because you can't get a real solid number until they actually run it through the system. So have them run it through the system and say, okay, here's how much you would receive if you started now. And then say, okay, how much will I receive if I start next year? And then if the money goes up, that means he didn't take it early. So I told you it's complicated, right? So, and at that time, you make your decision. So they'll tell you, okay, if you take it now, it's X. If you take it next year, it's Y. And then you can say, okay, well, I'll wait, and just say, oh, thank you. Thank you for shopping. Bye. And the Social Security employee will be very, very happy. They're not like car salesmen. It's like, they don't mind hearing, I'll think about it. That means they've got 5 minutes extra back in their life. So, yeah, so that's the best way to get a definitive number on that, is actually take a claim. All right, let's see here. My SSDI is up to 90% and holding. Why has it stopped at 90%? Yeah, I have no idea what that means, because there is no up to 90% or whatever the case may be. Social Security does, you might be talking about the VA. The VA does that, that you get 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever. But the Social Security, you're 100% disabled or you're not. So not sure what and holding means. Can I own my home and file for SSDI? Do they look at this? Nope, not for SSDI. All right, let's see. Let's see, his full benefit for you. Okay, somebody's answering. Medicare would reset at 65 and no penalty if you had penalty prior to that on SSDI. No, no. No, no, the reset. All right, let's see what kind of questions we got back here on YouTube. I'm 64 and researching for signing up for Medicare next year. Can't seem to find a resource to give me an idea how much premiums are for DGN. I realize there are variables. I'm in Arizona. Yeah, give us a call, email me, and I can have someone that would you say Arizona, right? I can have someone that is licensed in Arizona give you a call and give you the tentative numbers, because those numbers are only good for this year, of the the big companies in your area. There are so you're looking at a Medicare supplement G or N, which good, good, good. That's what I recommend. An N, then a G, but either one of those are fine if you can afford the the monthly premium. And then you're all of them are the same. A G is a G is a G. Doesn't matter what company it is. But you're looking at a big stable company that is going to be big and stable forever. There's a bunch of really small companies that offer kind of lowball initial quotes and stuff like that. So, but the prices go up, or when you sign up for a Medicare supplement plan, you're basically signing up for decades. You sign, most people sign up for Medicare supplement plan and they're done for the rest of their life. The only thing they have to do is, check their Part D plan once a year. Medicare Advantage is different. Those you need to check every year because they change every year. But Medicare supplements, you sign up once and you're done. So it's important, even if the company is a little bit higher, but it's a bigger company and more reputable and all that, and lower, increases over the years, then that's probably the one to go to. But yeah, if you want to kick around all those, absolutely. Give us a call, and just call the number down below there. And do I have the number down below there? Let me go ahead and put that up there. Or email me and tell me what you're looking for, what state you're in, because again, they are all state specific. We can have someone reach out to you and check you out. All right, let's see here. I was on Social Security disability, filed at 62. I hit the age of 66. They removed me off the disability and put me on retirement. Can they do that? Yep, they do that to everybody. Everybody, 100%. They do that to everybody once they hit their full retirement age. And it doesn't matter to you. It's actually better for you, because again, your check stayed the same. When you get your check stayed the same. It's just now you're no longer have to deal with CDRs. Now you can, if you want, you can work, and doesn't matter. You can make $1 million a month now, and it doesn't affect Social Security or retirement or anything like that. It actually increases your retirement benefits. Plus, you get $1 million a month. So there's that. But yeah, it's you probably didn't even notice it, perhaps, because everything pretty much stays the same. What it is just it's basically a bureaucratic thing where they stop taking the money out of the disability trust fund and start taking out of the retirement trust fund. You missed my previous post above, Christine. Oh, I did. Did I miss? Let's see here. Trina. Da, da, da. I don't see Trina. Lola Luckley. Da, da, da. I don't see it. I don't see it. Go ahead and Trina, go ahead and post your question again. Sorry about that. I don't see it there. All right, let's see. I'm on SSDI 62, got the insurance marketplace. I'm having to pay $700 in taxes on, okay. Yeah, I don't do taxes. Once you hit your 65th birthday, then you'll get off of Obamacare marketplace and switch over to Medicare. All right. What is CDRs? CDRs are continuing disability reviews. If you're on disability, let's see. All right. So what are the kind of questions? Okay, Nancy for Lisa. Lots of info on Medicare.gov. Premiums will go up later this year. Don't look at Part D until mid-October. There you go. Yep. Yeah, because yeah, Part D. Yeah, no use in checking out this year. I think there's going to be a lot of changes on Part D next year. Part of the Inflation Reduction Act, it actually Part D is getting a lot better. The maximum you can pay for prescriptions is $2,000. This year it's $8,000, but next year the max you can pay is 2,000. And they got rid of the whole donut hole basically and stuff. So, um, all right. Everybody's saying they're missing my post. I've got a little bitty window here on the side. So yeah, if I miss your post, I apologize. Lisa, I'll email you. Thanks so much. I wish we'd had you as a resource for my husband. He's been on an Advantage plan for years now. You're on our life team. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, just the Medicare Advantage. Like I said, I'm going to do one. It's kind of a there's a super popular video out there that says why I would never choose a Medicare Advantage. So I kind of copied that, piggybacked on that. So I did kind of why I would never choose Medicare Advantage, but I'm going a completely different approach on that. So um, Medicare Advantage, you know, is fine if that's in your budget and that's what you have to get. But the important thing is to keep up on that on a yearly basis. So have your husband reach out to us in like September. And then when the new plans come out for 2025, yeah, that's the thing about Medicare Advantage. You have to keep up on those every single year because they change so much. So, mom on Medicare, but run out of funds and moved in mother me. She can't afford Medicare anymore. Yeah, have her call Medicaid, and they have what's called the Medicare Savings Program. So if you're not unable to pay for the Part B premium, the 174 and change, then you call your social services department of social services, welfare, Medicaid, whoever does Medicaid in your particular state. Call them up and tell them, hey, my mother can't pay for the Part B premium, and they will evaluate everything. And it's income and resources driven, so they'll ask them all about that. And if everything works out, then Medicaid will pay for your Part B premium. So your mother will have Medicaid and Medicare. And in those cases, then I personally do recommend Medicare Advantage plans because supplements cost money, but Medicare Advantage plans have what's called a dual eligible plan. Dual eligible because Medicare and Medicaid. And those are the ones that, as I was talking about a little bit early, they have, yeah, a lot of cost savings in there, if not zero cost on a lot of things. So, yes, recommend that. So, call Medicaid. Once you reach your full retirement age, you're off disability and on regular Social Security. Your check will remain the same. Yep, that's all right. Let's see what else we got here. How can I sign up to get help paying my Medicare monthly premium? Yep, just that. So call up Medicaid. Other questions? Dun, dun, dun. Cynthia, just understand Medicare Advantage is not part of Medicare. It is outside insurance policy. Only Medicare supplement plans are connected to Medicare, also known as Medigap. Right, exactly. When you get Medicare Advantage, it used to be called kind of Medicare replacement. So instead of going through Medicare, you're going through a private insurance company, whatever one you choose. So yeah, and they have the networks and the pre-authorizations and all the rest of it. So I'm going to talk about that. I think on my I think it's tomorrow. I'm going to get into a little bit of the history of Medicare Advantage and the good, bad, and the ugly. Yeah. This lady T, I turned 60 this year. Can I start collecting spouse support? Was married for 10 years. I am on SSI for 5 years. Oh, okay. So you're on SSI. So yes, absolutely. Social Security actually mandates you if you're on SSI, which is in a needs-based, welfare-based program. Social Security says, okay, if there's any money out there that you're eligible for, you have to take it. So if you're eligible for spouse benefits or eligible for retirement benefits at 62 on your own record, you have to take it. Which I kind of that's a tough one. Um, because if you take survivor benefits at 60, it's a full reduction. So your benefits going to be reduced for the rest of your life. If you take benefits at 62 on your own record, it's reduced 30% for your entire life. Um, so yeah, yeah, but SSI says you have to take it, and I could see why, because it's paid for taxes, and so needs-based welfare-based program if you've got other benefits, but then you might have a harder time for the rest of your life because you took it so early. So yeah, it's yeah. All right, somebody did something in all caps. You missed my previous post. Yeah, it's not posting. Yeah, Trina, you missed my post again just above Samantha. I don't see it. It's not here at all on mine. So yep, it's not showing up on my system. So there's that. All right, let's see here. Larry, I was on workman's comp for a year. Does that year count towards Social Security? No, because that's not earnings. That's not considered, earned income that you pay wages and FICA taxes and all that kind of stuff on it. Yeah, if you paid FICA taxes on it, but yeah, that's unearned income. I don't think you would pay FICA taxes on there. So, all right. Let's see. Have you ever dealt with a 1099? Yeah, so a 1099 is if you're like a subcontractor, the gig economy and all that kind of stuff like that. So you're basically self-employed, sole proprietorship, and a lot of people, mess that up because they're 1099s. That means you have to do everything yourself. You don't work for an employer. You're contracted for that employer. And so instead of paying just, for, the FICA, which is the 7.65 and Social Security and Medicare, you have to pay twice that, because normally for everybody else, they pay the 7.65% FICA, and then their employer pays the other 7.65% FICA. But because you are your own employer, you have to pay both. And what a lot of people do, unfortunately, or whatever, they choose, I don't want to pay FICA, so they start an LLC and do this other thing, and then again, this is speaking from my decades of experience helping people with retirement when they come at 60, 65, 70, or whatever, and there's a retirement benefit from Social Security is very, very low, and they say, how do you expect me to live on that? I said, well, it's based on your high 35 years of earnings. And yeah, you didn't pay into Social Security for decades. So yeah, yeah. If someone can see Trina's, oh, I finally see it. Oh, okay. I finally see Trina. Okay, my friend's ex, married over 10 years, passed. His wife passed days after him. What is my friend entitled to from him? Okay, wait a second. My friend's ex. Okay, so someone passed away. His wife passed days after him. So his wife passed. My friend's ex passed. Okay, so two spouses, they're both deceased. Okay, yeah, I don't get that part, but anyway, so someone is 66, and let's say they have a deceased spouse. They're entitled to, if they were married to 10 years, then yeah, oh, okay, the person got remarried, and that new person is deceased. Okay, I think I get it. Okay, all right, she is 66. Yes, she should definitely call Social Security and look at both records. So she is potentially eligible for benefits from the higher one. So check, have Social Security, give Social Security the information on the first deceased spouse, and they'll look at how much the benefit is. And then they'll look at the benefit amount on the second deceased spouse, and they'll say, this one's higher than the other one. And so let's do the higher one. So absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Now let's see. Will it be better if I wait till I'm 62 and then file for spouse's support, or I lose either way? Yeah, that's the thing. Is if you're on SSI, I'm surprised Social Security didn't contact you yet. and tell you that you have to file. So, and if you don't, and if you know, whatever reason, then they can stop your SSI. But again, if it's spouse benefits at 60, surviving spouse or whatever, and you can get, $500 from your spouse, then that just means they'll take $500 out of your SSI check. So you'll get 500 from surviving spouse or your own record or whatever the case may be, and the other, what, $443, whatever's left on SSI from yeah, from SSI. So you'll still have SSI, but you'll just have SSI and this other thing. So, okay, thank you. YouTube doesn't like cats. Okay, maybe that was it. Yeah, that's the first time. So, okay, now I know. Now I know. Great. All right, Trina. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Learning new things every day about YouTube. Let's see here. Have you ever dealt with private person versus citizen? Is there a difference in the eyes SSI? Yeah, yeah, I don't deal with all that. All right. If I had to go on disability at 62 at no fault of my own, and now I'm at 67, how much did my true retirement amount drop? I had no choice to wait till full retirement. Had to go on disability at 62. Yeah. So no, it's if you went on disability at 62, then basically you got what your full retirement age benefit is. So if you're a full retirement age, let's say your full benefit amount at your full retirement age is $1,000. Make it easy, $1,000 at 67. And if you go on retirement at 62, it's a 30% reduction, so you receive $700. So $300 you lost. But if you go to on disability at 62, you get the $1,000. So you get your full benefit amount. The only thing that's kind of people get confused on is when you look at your statement when you're at 62 and you were filing for disability, it said, let's say at your full benefit amount is $1,200. But then you say, wait a second, I only got $1,000. That's because on those projections, when you go online to ssa.gov and you look at those projections, it gives you an estimate, says, okay, basically, 10 years from now, at your full retirement age, this is how much you're going to receive. But the computer says, calculates um, that you will continue to work until your full retirement is basically what you've been making recently. So if you've been making $50,000, the computer kind of estimates that you're going to continue making $50,000, and that 67-year-old age quote is based on that. But if you immediately stop working because of your disability, then those years aren't added in there. So that's maybe why it looks like, wait a second, I thought I was going to get this much, but I didn't. That's because of that. So there's that. Brian, if CDR for 65 years old, I mean, they can do a CDR all the way up until you switch to retirement benefits. So theoretically, yes. Uh, why would I have to pay $700 back when I filed taxes on my SSDI when I pay Medicare penalty? Yeah, so yeah, I don't do taxes. Retired 30 years, PO 65, receiving SSI, apply for disability. How much will it go up? Um, yeah, it really depends on your calculations. All right. All right. So let's see if we got any other questions here. All right. So I think, wow, we actually it's a slow question day. And there's a bunch of interesting questions on TikTok. There's always interesting questions on TikTok. So there's that. Oh, I work for the state of Texas. When I retire, I am eligible for state to pay 50% of my insurance premium for life. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Good deal. So, yeah, there's a lot of pension companies out there in state, local, whatever, that, yeah, once you retire, they will include that. But a lot of those pensions are actually switching to Medicare Advantage because the pension companies are, your company is saving so much with the Medicare Advantage. Um, some of those are zero premium. And so you one day see this every day, unfortunately. you have the same insurance from your company for decades, and then you retire and you have the same insurance that you've always known and liked, and then the following year, the board of directors of your company decides to save a bunch of money so they can go on vacation, and they switch you to a Medicare Advantage plan, and now you have the networks and pre-authorizations and all that other kind of stuff. So yeah, that's happening. It looks like it's happening across the country. So best way to learn about this stuff before it's too late. Yes, yes, please, please get this out to people that are younger, and make sure they check and prepared for retirement. And again, Social Security is not just retirement. It's also disability. So people think, oh, Social Security, it's going to be 40 years off, and it's not even going to be there, and all this kind of stuff. Well, that depends on us. Um, but yeah, I mean, that person could, if they're not lucky, use that Social Security tomorrow. If you know they're driving through an intersection and someone decides that they want to, check out their Facebook rather than looking at the red light. Um, you know, you could be on disability tomorrow, and I've taken thousands of those cases. Survivor benefits, disability. You know, life is what happens while you're making other plans. So, and I can speak to that because I've, you know, taken hundreds of thousands of applications where life has happened. All right, I think we'll call it a day today. Let's see if we've got any other. When you start SSI, do you have to sign up for Part B if on spouse? So SSI is the welfare-based program. So you probably mean Social Security, regular retirement, or something like that. So everybody gets that wrong. So no problem. No, you do not. If you are on your spouse's plan and your spouse's plan is from current work, and that health insurance plan in your company has 20 or more employees, then nope, you do not have to sign up for Part B. Save yourself, the $174.70 a month. And then, but once you stop receiving health insurance from your or her work, then you should go ahead and sign up for Part B. You can, if you want, sign up for Part A now. It's free, extra coverage, unless you're giving to an HSA, a health savings account. If you're giving to an HSA contributing, you can't sign up for Part A. Well, you can, but then you can't give money to the HSA anymore. So yes, and then once your wife stops working, next year or 2 years or 3 years from now, there's just a couple of forms that you have to fill out. One of those you take to your employer, and they certify that you did have health insurance since you turned 65, and there's no penalty whatsoever. So no problem at all. Are Medicare Advantage plans a scam? No, they're a reality. The way people sell them sometimes is definitely scamish, but I'll talk about that. Yeah. All right, let's see here. John, for a person on SSDI because of muscular dystrophy, are they exempt from a CDR because of medical improvement not expected? Not necessarily. Yeah, but even if you're not expected, they still can do it every 5 or 7 years, because it's it kind of goes back to in the 80s when AIDS first came out, that people were approved immediately, and then you know they've got a whole bunch of medications and treatments and everything, and now you have AIDS or HIV or whatever, then you don't get approved, uh, unless you're at a condition where you cannot work because of it. So yeah, but there's a lot of people with muscular dystrophy. I mean, it's the guy that started Social Security, FDR, had polio. He was in a wheelchair, but he was kind of working. Um, so for quite a while. So yeah, Stephen Hawking was working and stuff like that. So um, people can continue to work with their disabilities. Obviously it depends on what type of work they're doing and all that kind of good stuff. So yeah, so yes, you can conceivably still get a CDR no matter pretty much what. And just as I mentioned, FCS, forget about it, complete it, and then forget about it. Had somebody contact me and said they lost their legs in a car accident, and he had a good sense of humor about it, maybe a little dark sense of humor, but he always put on the CDR, says, "My legs have not grown back." So yeah, but still, I had people in my office in wheelchairs that couldn't walk, and they worked at Social Security. So yeah, but he had other issues as well. Um, Just Jeff, hey, Just Jeff, this is such an incredible channel, so easy to listen to and learn from. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it. And yeah, I try to throw in some humor. Someone emailed me one time and they told me that they don't want to hear my entertaining jokes and stuff like that. They just want information and for me not to have fun. So, but yeah, sorry, that's not going to happen. I agree, Jeff. You're learning something new every day. It's like my favorite class. Thank you, appreciate it. For sure, Lisa. All right. Thank you for your time. Okay, appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Actually, I'm teaching 3 classes this semester at the university, so I have final exams coming up in the next few days. So that's a whole different topic. All right. Yeah, once I finish with final exams, I might be able to do some of this some more. All righty. I think that'll do it for today. Oh, let's see here. Isn't there a new rule on not taking Medicare private insurance if your deductible is higher than 2K? No, not taking Medicare private if your deductible is higher. Yeah, I'm not sure what that means. Yeah. So yeah, send me that, or yeah. Will I be required to take Part B if I switch from SSR to SSDI? I prefer my Blue Cross Blue Shield PPO Federal as prime. Yeah, but if you have a federal Blue Cross Blue Shield, I guess we're talking about federal employee health benefits there, then I think they pretty much make you sign up for Medicare and all that kind of stuff. But you don't necessarily have to sign up for, a supplement or anything like that. But you need to get coverage to cover all the gaps in there. All right. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. Lady says, yeah, don't worry about them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm an old Marine Corps sergeant, so some of these personal attacks are pretty lame. I'm gonna have to give a class one day to how to harass people. Yeah. So anyway, all right, y'all have an awesome day. Thank you for everything, and make sure you share and like and subscribe and all that kind of good stuff. And we'll talk to y'all next time. Take care.